What is up? It's your boy Pooks. I am so sorry that I've been gone for 3 weeks, but today I have some great content with Wody Jones. You heard it right. We are playing the meta tier 0, probably tier -1. If we're thinking Sakazuki getting banned is 0, Wody is -1. That's how good this leader is. And memes aside, we're actually going to talk about a lot of things today. Let's just start right off with things that are relevant to people in this TCG game. Prices seem to be kind of fluctuating because we've been told numerous times by Bandai that we're going to get product, all these new, new distribution of old sets, 1, 2, 3, and 4, apparently are supposed to be coming by soon, but like I said, Bandai just doesn't really know how to communicate and keep things going. Kind of annoying, but if all I'm going to say is just buy singles, go for the cheapest cards, buy your cheap SRs right now. Don't spend, I wouldn't really be buying anything from the newest set, especially not any purple decks, black decks. Hell, even some of the yellow decks are still holding price if you want to get Hioris, like $40 US just to get a playset. Seems a little too steep to me. It is tough, but luckily there are lots of decks that are tried and true, good decks to play. And as you can see with this Wody Jones, all you really need is the Mihawks and the Wody Jones, and that's pretty much the most expensive cards in this set. Both of those should run you about, $40 for the playset of Mihawks, or you can buy the 2 starter decks, and then you got to get your Wody Jones, which is very important in this leader. Moving forward, I wish I could tell you that there's more product coming, but I really cannot tell you anything. I don't have any information, but I do know that distribution seems to be the issue, not Bandai. It seems to be a halting in Canada because we have one distributor. It's Universal. That's the name of them. So if you actually have anger towards the One Piece card game, you should direct it to the distributor because they're the ones who set the price once they see the demand. Just getting that off, because there are scummy local game stores that really do try and up the price and get, at least like a 20% profit off things when they could easily just be content with 5%, 10%, whatever. I don't know the logistics, but I have card stores in my area that, have a much higher price than others. And, the best way around it is just speak with your wallet. I don't buy from some store because they have ridiculous prices. That being said, if you're a new player and you're trying to get into this game, just buy singles. I will have a guide coming up very soon about what is the cheapest decks to play that I think are the most fun, because there are lots of new players and there's not a lot of product, especially with the next starter deck coming out with a pack that has a promo card in it. That is just going to get scalped to shit, and I feel bad because there's no way to stop it. If you didn't pre-order 9 months ago like me, you're probably screwed. That's all I can say. Like, it's tough. I love new players, but I hate telling them the truth of the state of the game. It's meta all the way down. You might not even want to play a meta deck, but you might not even see success until you start buying these $10, $20 super rares, secret cards. So that being said, if you're a new player, I would just enjoy the sim while you have it. It's a great resource. You can meet a lot of people on it, and try the competitive Discord if you think you've become cracked and you can start whooping people on this normal sim. Because the people who play on the regular sim do not tend to be good players, and that's nothing to discredit my opponents, but they often misplay, and that's why when I record footage of me playing these fun decks and winning, you can almost certainly guarantee that in a competitive state or in a competitive setting, this would never happen. Wody would get creamed, even if they drew terribly. But the dream is still alive. I don't think Hody's a bad deck. I don't think, all green decks are terrible right now. You don't need to have Eustace Kid in every green deck. There are ways to work around it. I build black decks without Borsalino because I don't have Borsalino. So you got to work around it. I'm going to do a little pivot and talk about where I've been, because I haven't been anywhere in a minute. So 3 weeks ago, I did 2 regionals back to back. I did 0 practicing for it, and my actual Katakuri deck, which, if you didn't know, I am a Katakuri main. Since set 3, I just kind of stopped because I got really bored of trying to win with a deck that is guaranteed to win, because when you lose with a deck that you think will win every time, it feels way worse than when you win with a deck that's supposed to lose every time. However you want to phrase it or see it, that's just the way it is. So That's my mindset. I'm not upset with my performance at regionals. I didn't run reject in my deck. I had 2 copies of the zero cost event, 3 Onamis and 3 Kikonojos, and I do know that you probably want to have 4 Kikos, 2 to 3 rejects, yada yada yada. I could have fixed my list up, but I was happy because I had a list I knew worked. I had 2 Crackers and 2 Yamatos in the deck. I knew when I was playing with them. I knew if I was going odd curve, I'd have some big card to heal with. It actually worked pretty well. That being said, playing a deck that I think is going to be an easy win makes it kind of annoying, because when you don't win with it, it just sucks. So, for my sake and this channel, I'm going to continue to make fun deck lists, and then also try and supplement with some competitive stuff. Because I'm going to be honest, I personally think Katakuri is the best leader for beginners, because it gives you so much to work with, besides the fact that the cards are a little expensive to get a playset of. It really is just a good deck just for beginners to realize, okay, I can look at my opponent's life, see some of their cards early, so I know what's coming later on down the road. And we'll get into that in a more sophisticated video, but right now, just continuing on with where I've been in the last 3 weeks. And this is more personal, reflective about me, so if you don't really care about me, you can blank this out and listen to music. I'm not too upset. I'm just a random guy on the internet. But what I will say is that this card game is fantastic once you get settled and have stuff to work with. Otherwise, it's kind of, a painstaking process trying to beg people for market price, for a decent deal on cards, that you just really want to have a playable deck. You don't even need 4 of every card from every set. You just want to have 1 color, maybe 2 colors, half of each for your dual color leader, and things like that. So yeah, because I feel like I'm slightly sidetracked, but the point of this is that, this game, when you're set up, feels more enjoyable, but I really did enjoy the building my deck, because when I first played Katakuri, I didn't even have 4 10 drops. I think I barely had 1, and I had to slowly but surely in my community make trades for it, give them cards I wanted, or just ask them for money, or give them money just for the cards. So things like that. It's really good to go to local stores. I think local scenes, depending on yours, I can't tell you how good it's going to be, but I'll tell you that my local scene is one of the best. I don't really play card games that often, but I really do enjoy playing every week with the people I get to see. It feels like a great time, and I really enjoy just being able to hang out with everyone there. So when I first started this game in June, I bought a box of OPO3, and of course I pulled Alt Art Katakuri Leader in that box, and that basically set me up on my journey to play yellow. But at the time, I was working a job I hated. It had good money, hence I could afford to buy packs and not feel financial depression. But it really was, it was a great start, is what I'll say. It was a fantastic, how would I put this? It was a good escape from the pain that my work was giving me. And it's not like the work was that hard. It was more so I would just contemplate and deal with all this bullshit in my work, and it would linger after work, and I had to find a healthy way to let it out. Who would have thought Wody would have, won swinging into 3 life, but, we did it. We're going to do a quick rematch, I believe. But continuing on, I really did, fall into a really horrible routine of, getting done from work, spending 2 hours of my day after work, trying to figure out what I did that day, what the hell just happened, what do I feel. Way too much thinking about work. You should not be thinking about work after work, especially in a labor position for the city. And I'm going way too much into detail, but needless to say, I was not in a good mental state. So finding this card game was a really good resource for me. It let me get to talk to new people, let me find a new thing that I really enjoyed, and it was something about One Piece, which is something I finished catching up to last year, right before the summer, so I was pretty caught up, very well versed with the One Piece game. I just didn't even know there was a card game until June. I would have definitely bought stuff in December if I knew it was coming out, but of course that all slipped past me. And I don't regret that one bit. I was doing other things at the time. But in the summer, 6 months after the release, or 8 months after the release of the game, things were it was a red meta, and regardless of how stale the meta was at the time, I still really enjoyed my time and enjoyed playing, just trying out my Katakuri deck, trying to make it work. And in the OPO4 meta, it wasn't really the top deck, it was one of the top decks, but we got slapped out by Film Green Purple Dofi. That's something that happened very often. Needless to say, at the time, this card game, for me when I was working, was a really awesome experience because it filled a gap that I was suffering in otherwise. So we fast forward to after my contract's done, and that's honestly when I started making this channel because I had a lot of free time on my hands. I started making, cool intros, little transitionary animations and stuff. You've seen it all on this channel. And I did my best to keep myself busy. But the downside is that I treated this card game like a full-time job. And if you start treating something that you're supposed to love as like a full-time job, you're really going to hate it in the future. And that's exactly what happened. So through February, I was kind of feeling a fatigue, but I pushed my way through it. And in March, as you may know, when I took my big break, right pretty much halfway through the month, that's kind of when regionals was, and everything was just too much for me. I just had to stop. I couldn't keep pushing stuff. And that's honestly because I didn't really have anything to look forward to in my life. It sounds depressing, but I'm gonna be, I'm a pretty blunt guy, pretty straight to the point. There was nothing. It was almost like this card game was just like a burden to me because I felt like I had to play this. I had to grind a cool new deck list. I had to make a meta deck out of something that wasn't meta, and that's a really unhealthy mindset. But this 3-week break has given me the time to, one, help out with my family, get closer to my family, kind of heal in that sense, but more so figure out what I actually want to do in the future and like what I'm going to be doing. Which I can happily say that, do not worry, your boy Pooks is not going to be disappearing that often anymore. If anything, I will just put out lower quality stuff and more often, because at the bottom line, people just want to see games. They just want to see how things work. And I like to liken the way I'm doing this video to when I was, 11, 12 years old, watching COD streamers just basically put on some footage of them running through free-for-all and just talking about stuff. Woody's gamer tags Mail Monday, if you go back that far. But that's kind of how I see this kind of approach, and I do think we can incorporate these kind of videos at least once a week. We don't even have to talk about heavy topics. We can literally talk about the meta, we can talk about the anime, the manga, yada. Whatever we want, you just let me know what you guys want me to do. Because I'm going to keep making stuff that I think is good, but obviously your input will be really helpful. I have lots of people at my locals that not only support me, and I really appreciate that, but also just give me advice, and they have really good opinions on a lot of things. So I'm going to try to get them involved in this channel, maybe just with interviews, especially some of the guys who have topped at major tournaments. I mean, I don't even care about the accolades to some extent. I actually think a lot of the guys and people at these tournaments, they cook up really awesome deck lists. So if anything, when you see me come in with a cool deck list, just know that I'm almost inspired by the people that I play with to make that later work, or just put my own spin on it. I don't really think I have much else to really delve onto. I will say this, I have to sell off some of my collection. I am not upset about that at all. I have, if you open any boxes, if you open more than one box per set, you will almost certainly have a bunch of uncommons and commons left over. So my main goal right now is to try and make quick little starter decks for basically 20 bucks Canadian, plus shipping, whatever I want to charge. But literally just intro decks with like 2 SRs, 8 rares, and then mashed together, you can play the game now. That's what I want to do. I realize now what I want to talk about. I made a lot of focus on locals and getting involved in your community, and I just want to say, if you do go to locals and you do partake in community games, just thank the people who are out there actively asking stores to sign up for events. People who are questioning, hey, did you guys sign up for these orders? Did you guys put your orders in for these boxes in the future? Because those are the people that kind of keep your community alive. Now, I'm not really that kind of person. I'm actually a little lazy when it comes to alerting local game stores to what I want to do and what's best for the community. But we have people in our locals that, are grinding. They're posting the newest cards in the chat. They're letting everyone know the newest news updates and all that. So just thank them. Just give them a big old thanks for all the work they do. All their, even if you don't have that, maybe this is a sign for you to become that person in your community. You know what I mean? And not everyone is gonna have a great locals scene. I can't guarantee that everyone at your locals is gonna be sweet, kind, play decks that are fun and or competitive or whatever it is. We have a great mix where I'm from. We have a huge mix of people actually playing meta, so you can get good experience for tournaments, as well as people like me. Not even just like me. There's people who are better than me at cooking insane decks. Like, there are people who I've never beat yet with my meta deck and their Magellan deck, for example. Like, I just cannot get past it. So, super interesting. I really do think that if you were trying to get into this game, you have to make a push for the local game scene, because that's where you're going to meet people who care about this game. That's where you're going to find cheap cards. Maybe when you first get in, you can't just ask for deals, but very soon, and as you build connections with people, you can cut them favors and get favors in return. I love just helping people out, especially new people that show up at my frequent stores. I'm there every Monday and Sunday, sometimes Fridays, and if I see a new face, I'll try to make an effort to say, hey, what kind of deck are you trying to build? Let me see if I can help you. And you do not have to do that. You do not have to feel obligated to help anyone out, but it really does help people that honestly just want to hold product in their hands when we have so much extra product. As someone who's played the game for more than 6 months, who's opened more than 1 box or 2 boxes, you will have extra cards. So just consider that option. This is a game that will only thrive if the community keeps being strong together. So don't be afraid to just reach out and, I'm going to say this one more time. Thank the people who run the community, even if it's your game store. If you have a great priced game store, let them know. Let them know thank you for keeping the prices affordable for everyone. But anyway, let's wrap this video up. Let's watch this footage. I'll give you commentary. As you can see, that 3-drop that I have on my board is nuts. Absolutely insane. So, here he goes. He rejected my last life, swinging for 5. I hit him with the GG because, a little confused what he did there. He probably should have just played the 10-drop and then done the reject turn next turn, but I'll take it. So your boy just loads up all the Dawn on Wody, and that's the deck, ladies and gentlemen. Don't expect Wody to win every time, but, when we do get a win, it feels good. That being said, I hope you enjoyed this different approach to a video. I'll be posting as much as I can, which might just be 3 times a week, but if I can do daily uploads, I will try my best. Anyway, this is your boy, Pooks. I hope you enjoyed, and look forward to the spicy content coming soon. Thank you, guys.